Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be knitting a spring blanket with pastel colors. The colors I'm using is Spa Blue, Ivory, Sage, and Bridesmaid Pink. All of these can be found at Hobby Lobby. I had a lot of fun knitting this one. I actually knit this one by hand instead of on the loom, and the experience was different, but I did have fun. I did lose some footage here. If you see me showing you the row counter, it's so you can see what row I'm on and which color I'm currently using for that row. The pattern is free to follow along with here on YouTube, but if you want to support the channel, you can find the pattern and the chart on Etsy. The first 4 rows of this pattern is Bridesmaid Pink, or Bridesmaid Dress, and that does include the cast on. I always change color at the second to last stitch just to help maintain the nice neat edge, but feel free to change color however you like. That's going to be followed up by 2 rows of ivory. After your 2 rows of ivory, you're going to follow that up with 4 rows of Spa Blue. Most of the big color blocks are outlined by 2 rows of ivory, so again we'll do another 2 rows of ivory. And now it's time to add in our first color block of sage. For this section, you'll do 5 rows of sage. Once again, we're going to do 2 rows of ivory, followed by 2 rows of bridesmaid dress, followed by another 2 rows of ivory. Now we're going to add 1 row of Spa Blue, and then follow that up again with 2 rows of ivory. And now we're going to add in 3 more rows of sage and 2 rows of ivory. After the 2 rows of ivory, we will do 3 more rows of the Spa Blue, and then 2 more rows of ivory. Now it's time to add pink again. We're going to be working this pink over the next 5 rows. And instead of doing 2 rows of ivory after the pink, we're going to be doing 3. Now we've reached the center of the blanket, which is 1 row of sage. The rest of the blanket is mirrored, so the following 3 rows will be of ivory. Now that we've reached the halfway point, and I told you the rest of the blanket is mirrored, we're going to be doing the 5 rows of pink again. As my blanket grows, I feel so accomplished, but it's getting very hard to manage with this pregnant belly. I wish I could learn how to knit away from me, but it's just stuck in my head. I only know how to knit towards me. We're again going to do another 2 rows of ivory. And then 3 rows of spa blue. Please be sure to remember to take stitch count every few rows and even check the back of your work for drop stitches, because the last thing we want to do is take out any work that we've already done. And now we're doing another 2 rows of ivory, followed by 3 rows of sage. And again, we're working another 2 rows of ivory. After that, we will do 1 row of spa blue and another 2 rows of ivory. Now it's time to add in 2 more rows of bridesmaid dress, and then another 2 rows of ivory. Now we're going to do our last color block of sage, which will be 5 rows. Now we're going to add in another 2 rows of ivory. And now we're going to be doing 4 rows of spa blue. We're nearly to the end now. We only have 2 color changes left. We're going to color change once again to ivory and do 2 rows of ivory. And now we're on our last color change to bridesmaid dress. We're going to do 3 rows of bridesmaid dress, and on the 4th row, we're going to do our cast off. Now it's time to cast off. Cast off the whole length of your blanket and make sure that your stitches are nice and loose. Once you're done casting off, you're going to weave in your ends and burn in the ends or sew them, whichever you prefer. Alright guys, that's it for my pastel spring blanket. I hope that you were able to follow along, and I would love to see anything that you make. I always appreciate you guys stopping by, and if you made it to the end, you're awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.